Dan, how do we start part 2 of an episode but still follow the same format that we do with a question at the start of it?
Well, Lloyd, we're going to get into that. You've just done it with your intro. Thank you.
That's all right.
Do you know what? It's been a while. When the podcast started, we used to split all of them into 2 parts. Do you remember?
I do remember that.
And we haven't done that in probably over 100 episodes.
Business Anchors listeners, if you were a listener when we used to have lots of 2-parters, send us a postcard. Thank you.
So, continuing from last week's episode, we were talking about
the biggest challenges.
That's it. The biggest challenges founders face. We did the first 5 in the first part. So now we're on to number 6. What is number 6, Lloyd? And then we'll dive into it.
Number 6 is the best one yet. They're getting better and better. It's product development. Creating a product or service that meets the needs of the target market while staying within the budget and timeline can be challenging.
So interestingly, although we are running a service-based business now, Lloyd, we've got quite a lot of experience in coming up with ideas for product-based businesses, haven't we?
What do you mean?
Well, no, do you not remember we were going to go into producing smart light bulbs at one point and we had contacts over in China?
Yes.
That's one thing we did.
Yeah.
Do you remember we also came up with a board game idea that me, you and Dad were going to market together?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Do you remember we also had a car hire business called Red Chili Car Hire at one point?
I do remember that. Yeah.
So we have kind of got, and for each of those different things, we
failed. We what?
No, they did all fail.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But I feel like, going on those journeys has helped us in this kind of this point of like product development and thinking of ideas and things. So hopefully we've got some interesting things to share on this kind of segment. But I guess, how did we? I think the thing that we got wrong with some of those, reflecting on our mistakes, is we were coming at those ideas from what do we want to make? What do we want to produce and sell? And we were like, oh, let's make a board game. It's like, why would we do that? Whereas I think with the experience we have now with this business that's actually a lot more successful, I think from my perspective, I would be starting with the person we're trying to sell to and what they would want and what they need, and where there's like a gap in their needs, and then work backwards to develop a product or service that meets their needs. Does that make sense to you? Is that what you would?
I think focusing on one of those businesses that it wasn't even a business. We just started looking into it and then decided it wasn't going to be a business. But
because Lloyd never finishes anything he starts, so
we were looking. So in contact with China to develop these smart light bulbs, and we got an example of what the app could look like. And then I was kind of like, well, my Philips Hue bulbs, this is the app. I was like, this whole user interface, the products are far better, and this is far cheaper than we could produce with what we're working on.
Do you remember when we got a prototype sent over, and it was the shittest thing I've ever seen in my life, and it was like way worse product than Philips Hue. The app looked like something that like anyone could make that was just terrible, and we were like, why are we doing this?
I think unfortunately, because Dad and a couple of other guys were involved in
had contacts over in China,
and Dad was quite excited by the whole thing, and I did feel bad because I think I was the one that kind of went like, this doesn't make any sense. This is never going to work.
Positives though, I think we put a lot of time into that. Some may see that as wasted time. I see it as learning lessons.
Yeah,
I think,
and it's like you said, we realised there isn't an audience that this solves a problem for. We're saying, like in the previous part, it's about having a business plan and making sure something's actually going to work. Like, it's like,
let's make smart bulbs.
Do you think anyone's looking at smart bulbs and thinking, I need a shitter, more expensive version?
Yeah.
No, there wasn't anyone. Yeah. So let's not make that. So
can I tell a quick funny story about Red Chili Car Hire?
Yes. Sorry, did someone put salt in my coffee?
I haven't done that.
No? Okay, carry on.
Have you guys done that? No, okay.
Thought it might have been a prank. It's salty. Weird. Carry on, Dan.
So, what a great experience for listeners. There wasn't salt up in there.
Oh.
So Red Chili Car Hire, we had basically, I worked for a car rental company and we thought we could use those skills and Lloyd's skills in whatever you had skills in.
Thank you for being so clear on what I'm good at then.
to come up with this business where we would learn and things. The trouble was that the idea of a car rental business is you really want to rent out the car as often as possible. And it was sort of you, Dad and I. The trouble was Dad really wasn't that keen to rent the cars to people because he wanted to keep them in good condition.
Yeah, at the start of the business, Dad had a couple of
Lloyd
classic
got
cars.
so frustrated.
And we were like, right, so we'll start off with these cars that Dad already owns. He's part of this business with us. And then we'll invest in different cars once we get started. Put so much effort in, built this website, this whole business plan, branding, did a photo shoot at the local golf club with like white cliffs in the background, a lighthouse, all this stuff. Then we're ready to go. Get our first inquiry. Like, oh my God, it's worked. Right, we've got our first customer. It's like, Dad, so someone wants to hire that for the weekend. He goes, I don't really want to hire to someone I don't know. And I remember my heart sinking. It's like, what do you mean you don't want to hire someone you don't know? It's like, I don't think I feel comfortable hiring the car to someone I don't know. And I was like, well, how do you expect a business to work? Just what?
I remember you getting so pissed
off.
off.
You don't even know enough people to make this business a success. If everyone you knew hired the car, it still wouldn't earn enough money. And he's like, well, I just don't feel comfortable with someone I don't know driving it. And I was I've been spending months building this business. You wanted us to start with these cars that
we created all these documents that people have to sign and like this whole customer journey.
Then it's kind of, okay, fair enough. Well, they at least need to be a friend of a friend. And I was like, you can't have a business where you can only deal with friends of friends. That is not viable. I lost my shit at that.
Yeah.
But I think looking back, I think Dad was excited to start a different business with us. And I actually think he was trying to help us develop some of our skills in business.
Yeah.
And he was excited by that. I think he probably just should have been more open with us about his thoughts. I just remember being so happy when we got our first inquiry. Like, yes, this marketing's working.
Yeah.
The website's working. Yeah. Like,
there probably was literally one inquiry.
Like, I don't know a Stephen Smith, so I don't think we should hire to them.
Yeah.
It's like, great, Dad. So this business has a potential of having income of £200 a year when Uncle Stephen wants to hire your car, and you won't even charge him because you know him. Anyway, sorry, rant over.
Oh God, fun times. But to be honest, I do look on those years fondly when me, you, and Dad were coming up with stupid business ideas and trying to figure it out, and they were all awful. But and I think this is a good piece of advice for the listeners. Like, you need to go through the motions of coming up with shit ideas and trying to implement them and then failing to eventually get to, like we have, like, I class this as a successful business now. Like, it's
Also, genuinely, like, that was for the Red Chili Car Hire. That was the first website I built and stuff.
Yeah.
So you look back,
it might still be live.
Actually, no, I've taken it down.
Oh, thank God.
Because Uncle Stephen didn't want to.
Could have just messaged you, right?
And that genuinely, like, that gave me lots of experience and learning and things that I used in the future. And a lot of it did.
I mean, that website, looking back at it, was revolutionary. It was really, really good.
Imagine the first website someone's ever built for a business that was never going to have any customers. That's what it looked like.
Oh, I remember us doing a brainstorming session of coming up with wacky names for a car company. Red Chili Car Hire. Like, what the fuck? It's one of those, like, oh dear. Anywho, so that's our product development advice for you. So next one, Lloyd.
Staying motivated and focused. The journey of entrepreneurship can be a roller coaster ride, and founders must stay motivated and focused on their goals to overcome obstacles and succeed.
So I'd say, again, we talked a bit about your past, Lloyd, in the last episode. I'd say traditionally, you haven't been that focused and motivated about anything. But no, this is leading on to something good.
Okay.
But
Didn't realise it was a roast.
No, but I'd say now you're the most focused and motivated for this business than anything that I've ever seen. So this is teeing up my question to you. So what's changed? Why are you now not? Why are you now so motivated and focused for this? Like, I'm trying to teach the anchors some lessons.
Just because I want to do it.
Oh, okay.
At school, was like, oh, do this thing. You could do a really good job. And I didn't want to do that and didn't feel the need to impress anyone. I think a lot of it is I never felt the need to show anyone else what I was capable of or felt the need to impress other people. Whereas I think a lot of people like you,
I constantly want that.
Crave people going, Dan's
love me, please.
Dan's doing a good job. Yeah, like, love me. And I have to admit, I had that with girls that were in the friend zone. Love me.
Yeah.
No, but I didn't feel the need to do that. And I think when I was getting older and actually like now I'm motivated to do something that, and obviously it's like, okay, now I've got a wife and I want to start a family and I wanted to make sure I could financially provide for them. And I wanted to have a life of work that I would enjoy. And I think I realized it was like, this is the point where, okay, now this actually matters now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do really well at it.
Yeah.
That's good. That's why. But I do, this whole staying motivated and focused, I do want to put it out there that for founders, something that hopefully you can relate to is I do think motivation and focus comes in waves, and different times of your life, it's harder or easier to be motivated and focused. I think don't let that dishearten you. I certainly know that me and you have had months where we've been so motivated and focused, and I feel like we're really on a high and doing everything the best we possibly could. And then on reflection, there's some months or periods of time where I think actually we weren't as focused as we should have been.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that's to do with other things going on in your life. You know, we've, since starting the business, we both have had children and we've moved house and we've had different things going on. But I would say there's a lot of stuff on like Instagram and stuff for entrepreneurship, and it makes it look like other business owners and founders are constantly motivated and everyone's waking up at 4 a.m. and meditating and writing a journal and then smashing their workout and absolutely loving it.
We're doing that.
And I've done it this morning. But I would say don't feel pressure like you have to feel hugely motivated every single day. We really enjoy what we do, but still not every day. We don't come in like, I'm going to have a lovely day.
Yeah. I think you're exactly right. It's that roller coaster of ups and downs. But I think from looking back over the years, the times when it has been down or like things aren't going where we want them to, and we actually meet and we're like, shit, things aren't where they need to be. And we really need to, like, those moments of feeling terrible, like in monthly management meetings where things, I've had it before, I'm reporting on, it's like, you're not hitting any of your targets. Most of what you're doing is a pile of shit. And then I'm like, no, but I have had that. And it's probably because I haven't been as focused. And then that kick up the arse, that's what I needed. And then we have a huge high because then we work really hard and change what we're doing and really focus on it. And then we do the best, or I like help us deliver the best revenue generating months that we've delivered. So I think it's that journey, isn't it?
Yeah. And as founders of a business, it's like, it is a slog. There's times when you just have to put the work in. And I think something that's really helped me is sort of trying to think about gratitude and reflecting on things. And there was even the other day, I was coming in and I could feel myself thinking, oh God, I've got to write those scripts today. And then there's this really cheesy thing, you know, where people say, don't say I've got to, say I get to. But actually, if you switch it, I was like, I get to write these scripts. And then I thought, like,
compared to
what an absolute dream of a job.
Yeah.
I sat there and I wrote funny scripts and I could literally see out the window someone on a scaffolding thing on a roof fitting a window, like in the
nothing
cold.
Against that.
No, but nothing against that. But I know that I wouldn't enjoy that as much as writing funny scripts. Like, what a dream of a job. So I think actually when you reflect on it and think about that gratitude, it is like, oh yeah, this is really good and I'm fortunate to be able to do this. And that helps me stay motivated and focused. And
I think finding something, there's that classic thing of like, work on your passion, do a business around your passion. I think firstly, my first point on this is like, yes, as a founder, you have to put a significant amount of energy and brain power and time into the business to make it work. So ideally you want it to be something that you actually care about. You know, if we were just selling, I don't know, plastic gloves or something, which we wouldn't do, but like we wouldn't be coming to work every day thinking, oh, brilliant, you know, great with selling plastic gloves. But trying to find something that we actually enjoy. Like a huge thing that I enjoy as part of this business is us all creating content together as a team and doing this podcast and stuff. And it's makes me actually want to come to work. But you can't just create, like, it needs to be commercially viable as well. I think you need to make sure that you're doing something that you're passionate about or you're enjoying, but it's also commercially viable and you can actually create a business around it. Otherwise, you know, if you just love eating peanut butter, you can't necessarily just create a business around it. I mean, you could, but
there goes my business plan. Can I just point something out? We literally sold over £1 million of plastic gloves last year for a client.
Were they plastic gloves? They're safety gloves. They were safety gloves.
What were they made of? Anyway, moving on to our next one, which is dealing with legal and regulatory issues. Complying with various laws and regulations can be a challenge for founders, especially when operating in highly regulated industries. Boring! Next one. Managing growth. Rapid growth can be exciting, but it can also be challenging to manage. Founders must navigate the challenges that come with scaling their businesses while maintaining quality and consistency.
I think, again, looking back, we've made mistakes that have meant that we've grown too quickly and then basically made mistakes that have been negative for the business. So like when COVID happened and stuff, we got a lot of more business in and we had to hire loads of people. And I think we didn't have the processes set up that we needed to make that work as effectively as it should have. And it impacted us negatively. You know, I think 1 month we lost like 30 grand because we hadn't built the processes to. So I guess, like, on reflection for me, when we were smaller, we probably should have really thought more about the processes so that as we've, and we are now, but as we've grown, we would have had those set in stone so that, I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think most people think about growth and think the problem is not enough growth, which can be a problem for startup founders if you're just, especially if you're trying to raise capital, if you're doing that and you're going into investors and they're looking at your growth and saying, oh, yeah, you haven't grown.
Yeah,
why
haven't
would we
got
now
any?
invest in this? But yeah, a big challenge is, as ChatGPT said, is managing growth. So growing quickly also really presents big challenges. So like I said, at the moment, really happy with our team and the skills we have within our team and really love working with everyone in each of our teams we have. But if we grew really quickly next month, we have to hire people, add a load of new people. And if we don't have the time and brain space and resource to train those people, suddenly we've got a big challenge where we've got people that aren't delivering the quality that our customers are used to. And, you know, there's cash flow issues of growing quickly where, oh, this customer's going to pay us loads in 6 months and we have to prepare for that, but we haven't got the money now to pay for that growth and things like that. So I think, yeah, managing growth is definitely a challenge for founders. I suppose my tips would be going back to something I said in the last episode about the finance stuff, of really having a good eye on your finances and knowing if it's sensible to invest in things or not invest, or be a bit more cautious with money to manage that growth and how you're doing things.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got any tips, Dan.
I was just thinking about something before I've spoken to other agency owners talking about growth and growing your team. And what was that? There was a number of staff that you get to where it's like the peak amount of staff to make profit in things, and then you grow to, wasn't it like, I can't remember if it was like you get to 18 people, that's like the perfect point. 18 to 50, it's really tough, and then above that, it was something like that.
Yeah, I think people do say, yeah, like between, you have up to 15 people and it's making a good profit and it's all manageable, and then a lot of people find between like that 15 and 50 people, it becomes much harder, and then beyond that, the scale of it makes it easier again.
I think something that's helped me with the process thing is that we've spoken a lot about this before, but the entrepreneur's operating system, having those solid processes of managing the different departments in your business and ensuring that people are responsible for reporting on a weekly basis how things are going in each of those departments has been really useful for me. I think it helps keep a solid eye on what's going on and how things are working on a regular basis so that you can go in and fix any of those problems earlier on. Whereas before, like I said, when we didn't have all these processes, we'd have like a monthly meeting, like, oh, how's everything going? Like something could have, gone on in week 1 and it was week 4 and we hadn't done anything because we'd only just realized that. So having those weekly meetings has been really useful. And we've done a whole episode on the Entrepreneur's Operating System. If anyone's interested in listening to that.
Which you can find on all your favourite podcast places, which you're listening to now. You're
Great
already
call
there.
to action,
You're already
Lloyd.
there.
Great call to action. Something random, not to do with anything, but
Oh, good. That'd be great to listen to.
no, it does just make me think. We were looking at the data of from you listeners, and I think a couple of episodes ago we asked you to go and check out businessanchors.inc, our new podcasting website, and we were trying to figure out if this is a good thing or a bad thing. But looking at the listener data, loads of people just stopped listening to the podcast at that point to go and check out the website. But I don't know if they came back or not. But
Cool.
Yeah.
What's your point?
I don't know.
It's nice to see you do what we asked you to, though, listeners. We literally said, go and check out businessanchors.inc. And then from that point on, we could see that loads of you stopped listening and went to the website.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. But come back next time, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was my point.
Yeah.
Next one, Lloyd.
Balancing work and personal life. Running a business can be time-consuming and all-consuming. And many founders struggle to find a healthy balance between work and personal life.
So do you think you are good at balancing work and personal life?
I think this is one of our biggest...
No, I'm asking you.
I think this is one of my biggest strengths.
Yeah, I agree.
This is what I want to write a book on one day.
Okay.
And I think so in years to come, when the business has grown even more and really successful, Tay and Jay are driving in Rolls Royces because obviously they've been promoted so much and they're just like absolutely balling.
Yeah.
And they'll have like gold desk where they sit at
There
to
you
do
go,
the podcast, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So do you understand when it is now? It's then.
Yeah, then.
Right.
Okay, right.
I want to write a book, and because I think at the moment people think you either have to be Gary V and hustle, and you have to be like work 72 hours a day, and then you can grow a business and all that sort of thing, or they think you have to be Tim Ferriss and the 4-hour work week, and you have to do all these hacks to only work like 5 hours in a week, but you still earn 20 grand a day.
Yeah.
And I think I want to prove that, like, so me and my brother Dan, we actually worked a reasonable amount of time and had personal lives and saw our children and our partners and had fun outside of work. And we grew this successful business, and we're proof that you can have balance and still grow a business and be really happy and successful. That's my mission.
Right. And what are your what are your secrets? What if anchors are listening thinking, I want to have a good work-life balance, what are you doing that other people aren't?
Oh, those secrets. Right.
No, the other ones.
I think what we're really good at is we try and focus on processes that make us as people, that's weird. I mean, me and you and our teams work efficiently rather than just work longer hours. So making sure that we're producing lots of value for our clients, but efficiently, so not needing to spend weekends and evenings all the time doing that.
Using things like AI to help us do better jobs in less time.
Using AI, which we've done an episode about recently. Go back, it would be 2 or 3 episodes previously. Or, things like the entrepreneurial operating system that we use to structure our work with our teams, and we're going to use even more in the future. I think that's a big secret. And also, same point, just focusing on doing good work and high value work rather than more time working and having that focus with our employees and us. I think that's a big secret.
Can I add one that I think you do really well?
Yeah.
Is focusing on really trying to push us all to improve what we're doing and not just think, oh, it's always been done like this, let's just do it like that. You're someone that in the business is constantly driving to think like, right, yes, we've always done it like this, and yes, that's worked, but is there a better way? Having someone within your business to constantly be that person asking that question has helped us deliver better work in less time, because we've come up with better ways, because we actually just make it a focus, which sounds really simple, but actually thinking, how can I improve what I'm doing so I don't have to work till 8 p.m. tonight? And I think
admittedly, it's annoying for people at times, like, because we're all doing good work, and I'm still saying, and I do this with you a lot, Dan. I know sometimes you do get annoyed.
It is annoying, yeah.
Because like you're doing a really good job, and you're sometimes quite proud of something.
Yeah.
And then straight away, because I'm always looking on how it can.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Well, surely it would be better if you did this, this, and this.
And then you go, I'm sorry about that.
I can see your face drop, but then you do it, and then you're even happier.
Yeah.
But so it's annoying, but it helps us all be better, do better work, and all achieve our goals. But yeah, I think you're right. That constant focus on, even if something's really good, how's it going to be better next time? What are we going to do to improve this?
Yeah, I think I historically haven't been that good at the whole work-life balance thing. I think I've got a lot better from sort of being around you and seeing how you do it. But I used to do that tunnel vision thing where I'd be like, there's a problem, I need to solve it, and I need to spend 3 days on it unless it's solved.
I think in the last...
Yeah, I think I've got...
In the initial years of the business, But I think you've... That was when it was like me and you were a very small team, and you were like, if I put more hours in, this will work. And then I sort of wake you up the next morning on your desk. Like, do you reckon maybe you should stop doing that thing? And you'd be like, yeah, right. Yeah. But yeah, there's a few things, but I really think stop listening to this thing of you have to work hard occasionally. And I'm not saying I've never done a long day or anything. Of course I have, but don't make that the norm. And also don't get into this thing. And don't get me wrong, I've read the 4-hour work week, and there's some really good tips in there and stuff, but don't kind of think if you just follow a load of hacks, you can work an hour and make 20 grand a year, 20 grand a day. Well, or a year.
Devil's advocate. Yeah. I think when you're starting something new from scratch, I think it's beneficial to put more effort in and more, like, not just work 9 to 5.
Yeah, potentially. Depends who you are.
Yeah.
Depends.
I guess that's just, my...
Yeah, possibly. But I want people to know that you don't have to do that
long term,
forever. That should never be the norm.
Yeah.
And shouldn't be something that you have to continue. Like, we've had clients that never go on holiday because they think that they're a business owner, so they can never do that.
Like, Lloyd didn't wake up at 4 a.m. the other day to travel to London to work until like 9 p.m. He didn't do that. So
I mean, I'm not work shy, mate.
No, it was a sort of one-off thing.
Yeah, and like I said, I think in the last
and you didn't go to somewhere over the weekend and work all weekend, not see your...
This is a strange time. I was just about to say that. And our production team have genuinely been working long hours and worked over a couple of weekends recently. But what I'm saying is, the reason why we're like,
I've got a question, you Lloyd.
That's happened is because it's so unusual.
Yeah. Now, it's not the norm.
Yeah. And if it was, I think they'd be very tired. Oh, Tay's yawning as we speak. Okay. On that note, probably need to get some rest.
Yeah. We hope you've enjoyed this 2-parter, which is a bit new for us. I guess if you think we should do more like this, then let us know. If you think we shouldn't, then let us know. And go and tell everyone about the Business Anchors podcast.
Yeah. Right now, think of your favourite person with a name that begins with S. Go on WhatsApp and say, Stuart.
You don't say WhatsApp, you type.
Go. You never had a voice note, mate. Say, Stuart, I'll tell you what, you'd really enjoy the Business Anchors podcast. Something
that I really like that I'm going to steal from My First Million podcast, and I keep going on about it. They do the gentleman's agreement. Have you heard them do that?
No.
Where they say to the listeners, this podcast actually isn't free. I know you think it's free, but it's not free. Part of listening to this, the gentleman's agreement or the woman's something, they say gentleman's, a similar kind of thing. They say as payment for listening to this podcast that you think is free, you need to go to our whatever platform you're listening to this on and click subscribe. That's your payment for this podcast. So let's see if that works.
I've got an idea, actually. Gentleman's agreement. I know you thought that this episode was free, but I've had this revolutionary idea. If you want to listen to this podcast, which you do because you already have, Whatever you're listening on,
Yeah.
just subscribe.
And we're not going to let you listen to it until you've done this.
Yeah.
Even though this is at the end.
Gentlemen's and gentle ladies agreement. Okay. So thank you for that. Thanks for doing that. Pull over if you're driving. Safety first. On that note, Dan, do you think we should
See you in your ears next week?
week?